Hey guys, this is Sam from Chalice and Chains, and I wanted to get your opinion on something that I've been struggling with for a long time with gaming, which I'm assuming that a lot of other people have as well. And it's kind of the idea of player buy-in and enthusiasm, and particularly that not meeting my own level of buy-in and enthusiasm. What ends up happening is, and maybe this is because I tend to be the DM, because I get really invested in these games, but I find that over the years as I've been playing, whether as a player or as the Dungeon Master, I get, of course, super excited, super invested in the game. You know, I could be shooting out, messages and coming up with stuff like multiple times a day. And that's just me. I mean, I get really excited about the game, especially if it's a world I'm creating or whatever. But what I have a hard time with is when we come to the table and throughout the week or whatever, the couple weeks, I've been trying to really get the players to engage, and I don't really hear much from them, or, whatever. They show up at the table and they don't have their character sheet. Right? Oh, I lost it. Or, they have it, but they haven't looked at it even since the last session, right? And so they're not prepared, right? And so they, and then it slows down the game and that whole thing. I mean, like, I've literally been in situations where the player shows up and don't have their character sheet. And it was like 2 weeks or a month since we played before. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, and granted, this is when I was a player, not necessarily as a DM, but I'm curious what you guys do in that case, and how you kind of handle it, because where I'm at right now, I just started a campaign. I had a session 0 last week, and I'm working through, trying to use the Obsidian portal to really kind of flesh out the world and get, provide them with stuff. And my players so far have been good. I mean, they've responded and whatever, but I get this like nagging fear that what's going to happen is they're not going to be as enthusiastic as I am. And I can't blame them. But what inevitably happens to me is I'm like, all right, I focus on this stuff a lot. I put a lot of attention and a lot of time into creating the game and thinking about making the game interesting and whatever. And what I'm wondering is what happens if they come to the table unprepared? How do you guys handle it? Because what I'm planning on doing, we didn't really go over this in the session 0 that I ran because we didn't have one of the players there and whatever, but I think I'm going to go over at the beginning of the next session and just sort of have like a social contract, right? And in that, say, you will expect me as the DM to be prepared. I expect you as the players to be prepared. But what do you guys do if you find out that they're not, or they're like, no, I can't, I'm not going to do that? Whatever, do you say, sorry, those are my rules, hit the road? Or how do you guys handle it? And what experiences have you had with that? I mean, do you guys find that, especially as, Dungeon Masters, Game Masters, do you have a hard time with player buy-in, with players being invested and actually, being prepared and having looked at their character sheet in advance? So let me know what your experiences are. Happy gaming.